welcome yet to another hour of What's Making Headlines. This is News Tonight at 10 o'clock, and straight away into the bulletin. The DP bloc has launched a Democratic Alliance, a political pressure group with plans to form a political party soon to be led by former leader of opposition Matthias Mpuuga. This announcement was made during an event held at Malibu Gardens in Mengo near Kampala. Let's hear more.
A political organization by DP bloc has formed a political pressure group, the Democratic Alliance, that aims at forming a political party to be led by the former leader of opposition, Matthias Mpuuga. The alliance, which includes several political entities such as FDC, DP, NUP, and the Holy Alliance, represents a broad and inclusive approach to political unity. Matthias Mpuuga confirmed his commitment to the united political movement, urging people to join their cause. He emphasized his proven capabilities and criticized other political parties for prioritizing their own interests over the needs of the people who elected them.
We have to invite you to join me, to join my leader team, to join the DP bloc, to join the whole alliance my brother Chamunda has talked about, into one single file of struggling Ugandans for a better country. And I can tell you, we have missed a lot of opportunities. We have lost time, backbiting each other, backstabbing each other, instead of serving the enemy of our common peoples.
Mpuuga expressed his intention to collaborate with various political groups across Uganda to form a unified party.
Some of our actions have only entrenched the enemy of our common peoples. Probably Mr. Museveni would have left power a long time ago, but for our actions, he feels strong and stronger to stay on hold. And the biggest danger for us and generations ahead, that Museveni dreams of his son succeeding him. And some of us are happy that that bequest will also hold. I'm here to invite you to join us, to join every one of us, to join the struggling Ugandans into that common call that we are not going to make that mistake again.
This vision was further solidified with the signing of a partnership agreement with Alien Skin, marking a commitment to working together. He encouraged the youth to support the movement, urging them to use social media to promote the party's cause.
If you don't respect the elder or the leaders of the people, you don't respect the people. Bw'otaba mu kitiibwa mukulembeze w'abantu oba weerimbise mu kifaananyi nenga ggwe abataba bantu kitiibwa.
Former Machindye MP Mike Mabike shared his hope that the party's efforts would lead to development for the people, promising that the party would strive to fulfill the goals and aspirations of the voters.
Kakati buzibu ki bwe twagwako bano bambedi bwe baatuleetera n'abaana bamulaba abatudde wano ffenna twakola ensobi emyaka ene mabega kubanga faala yali aluddeyo ne tukwata ssabavubuka ne tumwambaza amaganduula ne tumugamba atandika emmisa. Kati ssabavubuka ali makati ga mmisa tamanyi kiddako.
Uganda terina kizibu kirina ekizibu kiki kimu. Buli mukulembeze gwe tufuna ayagala kutufuula bizinensi ye, ayagala ffe tukole, ayagala tubeere baddu nga ye bw'abeera mu bibyo. Ekyo kye kizibu kya Uganda.
The event also marked the official launch of their political alliance to the public. Chontawaire Proscovia, Nduga Nicholas report.
Now, on day 2 of the 5th High-Level African Forum on Women, Peace and Security in Addis Ababa has emphasized the importance of women speaking up against all forms of injustice, regardless of where they occur. During an earlier session, presentations revealed how silence remains a major obstacle to peace talks, particularly in war-torn regions of Africa. Tanzania's legislator and advisory board member for the Great Lakes region, Ambassador Liberata Mulamula, remarked the days of women remaining silent are long gone. She argued that the more women speak out against injustice in their communities, the closer Africa will come to achieve peace and security for all.
According to the 2023 Africa Gender Index Analytical Report, women in Africa have achieved 50.3% equality in areas such as economic participation, social welfare, and public representation. However, the forum highlighted that despite this progress, empowered women still face challenges due to deeply entrenched patriarchal norms, particularly when it comes to voicing their concerns about injustices in their communities.
I always say that if my grandmother could see me how I'm speaking in public, I'm sure is moving in her grave, because girls were not supposed to speak loud, and that was seen as untraditional. But times have changed, and somebody this morning was saying by not speaking is wisdom. We say no. I mean, one, we always say, and I believe, because I've been in this movement for a long time, that women do not need to be given a voice. All women have a voice. What we need is to be heard. So we have a voice. So we should not succumb to this traditional, which are outdated traditional and cultural norms that women cannot speak.
The executive director of the Africa Leadership Foundation chaired a session on the importance of amplifying women's voices, especially in efforts to promote peace and security across Africa.
Men should begin to see that women are needed as part of the development of Africa. Women, there is a natural parity in our population. If you don't encourage women or you don't build them up, you are more or less reducing the pace of your development. So men need to work together with women to ensure that their rights are protected and promoted.
Ambassador Liberata Mulamula highlighted the rapidly expanding media landscape, urging women leaders to leverage media platforms to spread messages that contribute to peace and security in their communities.
Because we are here, we are all elitists, former minister, former president. What about those women, and the majority of the women who are even more oppressed, but also have skills? They have a contribution to make. Who reaches them out? The power of the media, we want to use it effectively. And as I said, of course, we have many platforms.
There is social media, there's the new media which we can use. So even women are already empowered. Girls are empowered, so are boys as well, and young men. So we believe that if we have this encouragement to empower them, inspire them, motivate them, there will be no silence.
Maria do Rosario Brancasa, Angola's State Minister and Coordinator of Social Affairs, encouraged other African countries to prioritize women's participation in peace processes, citing Angola's example.
So here in Addis Ababa was talking to the envoy for women, peace and security, Vineta Diop, to see how we can implement the orientation of President João Lourenço, so that women of different countries from Great Lakes region can effectively participate in the negotiations for peace process.
According to 2023 statistics, 33.6% of seats in Angola's national parliament are held by women, surpassing the average for lower middle-income economies. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
Now, in local government, Adam Bale, the Commission Secretary of the Local Government Finance Commission in Uganda, has called on local leaders to advocate for the needs of priorities of local governments and communities within their jurisdictions to drive development and growth across the country. He made these remarks during a swearing-in ceremony of the new Uganda Local Governments Association Executive Committee, now led by Balokole District Chairperson Awanye Andrew, as we hear more.
Balokole District Chairperson Awanye Andrew has been sworn in as the president of the 26-member Uganda Local Governments Association Executive Committee, which will steer the association for the next 2.5 years. The ceremony, held at the ULGA offices in Najanankumbi, was presided over by the Makindye Magistrate Basemera Sarah Ann. In his acceptance speech, Awanye Andrew, also the Balokole District Chairperson, pledged to address the key issues affecting local governments during his tenure.
Top on our agenda, negotiation with the Cabinet and Parliament to increase the funding for local governments, which currently falls at 9% out of the total 100% a budget of the country. So it's a call to government to support local government leaders, both political and civil, to have harmonized remunerations and somehow elevated, so that we join hands together in pointing fingers to those corrupt tendencies, so that at a point we look at a position where there is qualitative and quantitative services delivered to the local people. The other thing that we're also looking for is retooling and tooling of local government. That government must give an environment where leaders, both local and civil, are in position to supervise, monitor, and make sure that the budgetary allocation for service delivery is not wasted. The conflicting laws, the laws which are being preferred in Uganda, must be in the best interest of the local person. We shouldn't have conflicting laws which are meant to disempower institutions, individuals. We should have laws which is inclusive and beneficial to the local person. Of course, also creating unity, calling for unity for all the local governments in Uganda to come together and support the association to probably present their issues to ministries, departments, and agencies.
The guest of honor, Adam Babale, urged the new executive committee and all local leaders to champion advocacy for local government concerns to enhance service delivery and foster growth.
We need to have strong local government leadership. When the leadership is strong, backed by their secretariat, that they can come up with the issues which they can articulate to advocate the interests of local governments, then they will be able to provide answers and also lobby for what they need from the central government. So we need a stronger secretariat, we need a stronger team that can advocate for local government. Because
the Uganda Local Governments Association, a national body representing local governments, aims to unite, build capacity, and promote accountability for efficient and effective service delivery. Grace Kemigisa compiled this report for UBC.
The World Mission Society Church of Uganda has donated 400 kilograms of rice and maize flour to Bukoto Muslim Primary School and committed to improve its infrastructure. This initiative addresses critical challenges such as food security and inadequate kitchen facilities which disrupt children's education.
Nakawa Division Mayor Paul Mugambe has expressed gratitude to World Mission Society Church of God for its consistent community support.
They have done a lot of things, and as it stands now in Nakawa, in terms of support, they stand in position 1. They have helped my office a lot to achieve a lot, and I'm sure they are still doing more for our community. Please don't leave Nakawa. I started with you here. Let us continue, and I'm coming back for another 5 years let us continue the work of God.
The mayor also emphasized the urgent need for proper kitchen facilities to ensure uninterrupted learning.
So whenever I come to this school and I ask any sponsor to sponsor for this school, and actually those people, they do respond, and I think that is God's plan. Huh? Isn't it? Yeah, really, that's it. So thank you so much, and we do appreciate, and I'm ready to be with you, World Mission Society, Church of God, and Bukoto Muslim.
Church representatives explained their motivation behind this initiative, stressing the importance of community partnerships in addressing pressing needs.
Organization. So we're very happy because we have received the opportunity from them to share our God's love. Actually, why we working in this way? Because we were taught by our God, Heavenly Father and Heavenly Mother. With the heart of a mother, we try to love all people and help our communities.
We also have other volunteer activities which we carry out, such as blood drives, such as cleanup activities, so that we can promote the love of God in society.
This was during the World Mission Society Church of God donation of 400 kilograms of rice and maize flour to Bukoto Muslim Primary School and committed to improving its infrastructure. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Now, the family of late Paul Bitalabeho has finally seen a glimmer of hope after years of struggling in bitter land dispute. State Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, intervened into the conflict surrounding the land in Kitetika Kasangati Town Council, Wakiso District. Now, the land has been at a center of intense contention for years. Let's hear more from Jamil Sekaja.
Semberayo ddala myezi 2-3 wabaddeko okulumbagana wano n'okusaawa. Semberayo ddala myezi 2-3 wabaddeko okulumbagana wano n'okusaanya ebintu ebimu ebibadde ku ttaka kuno nga buli omu agamba binanyini.
Ngamba nti law firms ne ba lawyers balekerawo okutwalira amateeka mu ngalo nga basapootinga obubbi bw'ettaka mu ggwanga lino be basinze okutuleetera obuzibu. Lwakuba be bayamba land grabbers kubawabula okugenda mu kooti.
Babasa amataka amalaala agataliiwo ne bassaamu skeleton.
Well, we're still having a slight technical glitch with that story, but as soon as we rectify the systems, we will be bringing you back that particular story. Now, moving ahead, State Minister for Trade, David Bahati, has urged Pentecostal pastors to embrace advanced education opportunities to enhance their image and credibility. The chaplain Parliamentary Christian Fellowship, Dr. Bishop Patrick Semambo, delivered the message on Bahati's behalf at a Thanksgiving ceremony for Professor John Bolingo Ntahira, a former Congolese refugee held at the Ndeje Regime Ministries, Makindye, Sabagabo. Let's hear more.
that time has come, and we all know that this kingdom of God is knowledge dependent. And the citizens of this kingdom can only raise to reign to the level of their illumination. We need to be illuminated, we need to be educated, we need to be enlightened.
See how the church is training its own people. It is making them useless, because God is a God of principles, whereby we are supposed to make sure that we create things, not just to pray and think that things are going to happen. The church was supposed to be influential, community transformation. But now today, if you want to meet beggars, go to the church. Because the church has not done enough to train people. Instead of working using their hands, they are working day and night using their mouth.
Apostolic Impact Christian University, we don't only train in theology, but we train every minister in other skills. For example, if you are training, you are doing a course in ministry or theology, we ask you to specialize in a course that cuts across, that can serve within the church and outside the church.
We glorify God that we have achieved this doctorate as a couple. It has helped us to encourage one another, and the time have changed. It is no longer just being a pastor, but we must be an example to the young people, mainly who fill our churches, that as we pursue the spiritual issues.
University is going to open a center here, which will help us as pastors in the area to study and become knowledgeable in the work that we are called for.
Quite a milestone now. The National Fellowship of Born-Again Pentecostal Churches Uganda, NAFBEC, led by the General Overseer Bishop Moses Odongo, has held a special service to dedicate the site for the construction of Balokole House at Chiwanga Village in Mukono District.
The dedication prayer was held at the site of the proposed Balokole building at Chiwanga Village, Mutubafo Sub-County, Chagwe County in Mukono District. According to the General Overseer of Born-Again Churches, Bishop Moses Odong, with the proposed plan in place, they are now destined to mobilize for funds for construction.
We want to raise it from the church and from well-wishers. There are many Balokoles in this country, and then we have many well-wishers. Ugandans are givers and hospitable, and we are a big family, and we are coming out to all the Balokole, to all other faith organizations in this country, and all the well-wishers, both in Uganda and in the diaspora, to be able to stand with this noble cause, where we are raising money to make sure that we put the Balokole house.
Bishop Odong furthermore stressed that the Balokole house is intended to serve as a home for the born-again Christians and bring them together, even though many manage independent churches.
The idea of a home is very important, and so even for us, having a home as the Pentecostal churches of Uganda, the born-again churches, is something which is very important, and it is a place that unites us. So
other leaders of the project said the plan is timely.
We decided to come in this place and pray. This place has been here seated for many years since it was offered to the fellowship. So since it's been seated, we realize that some battles can be spiritual. And the Bible says that the Lord gives strength to the warriors who turn the battle back at the gate. Battles can only be won at the gate level.
So we are grateful for the engineers, for our general overseer, and all the stakeholders to come together today to dedicate this place for the glory of God, for the construction of our national headquarters.
The project's engineer Patrick Sechigongo remarked the 7-story building will cost over 23 billion shillings.
Of the brief established by the members of NAFBEC, I came up with this drawing. It's supposed to be a 7-level building, and it is intended to be the official home of Balokole in Uganda.
Balokole House will accommodate boardrooms, conference halls, guest houses, and many more.
It's supposed to be a 7-level building, and it is intended to be the official home of Balokole in Uganda. It is going to include lettable space to bring in money.
The land on which Balokole House facility is to be constructed covers half an acre and was donated by members of the family belonging to National Fellowship of Born-Again Pentecostal Churches Uganda. I'm Ivan Juko and Viola Nansubuga for UBC.
Now, the Equal Opportunities Commission, EOC, has commended President Yoweri Museveni for establishing structures that ensure a reduction in inequality at all levels across the country. This has been evident in the social, economic, and political spheres, particularly in areas like education, healthcare, and employment, ensuring that even marginalized groups are not left behind. These remarks were made by Safia Nalule Juko, the chairperson of the commission, during a press conference.
For the past 11 years, the Equal Opportunities Commission has been releasing an annual report on the state of equal opportunities in the country, aiming to eliminate discrimination and inequality against individuals or groups. This mandate is derived from President Yoweri Museveni.
In addition to the powers given to us by the Constitution and the Equal Opportunities Commission Act, His Excellency the President gave this commission what we call minimum deliverables. And among the minimum deliverables we have to do from the powers of His Excellency the President is to produce an annual report on the state of equal opportunities in the country.
However, there have been concerns about how the Commission obtains the data for its reports, a point which has led to disagreements between the public and the Commission.
We do consult with different categories of Ugandans, especially those mentioned in the Constitution and the Equal Opportunities Commission Act as marginalized societies. Because the Constitution commands us to work also towards a balanced development, we also look at sectors like the Parliament of Uganda, like the Local Government Act, you know, the people providing services to Ugandans.
The 11th annual report released under the theme Fostering Inclusive Growth for Development highlights key issues such as salary disparities within the public sector and the problem of multiple taxation. The Commission's chairperson, Safia Nalule Juko, commended the government for its persistent efforts to address the country's historical inequalities.
On a level, you know very well that the NRM government came with provisions especially to do with affirmative action, balanced development, and this is enshrined in the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. And the issues to do with affirmative action for marginalized groups is something which the president of this country is actually takes very dear of, and he actually supports it wholesale.
However, there are challenges in producing this report, including miscommunication within certain institutions, as Nalule explains.
But we have a chapter on salary disparities. But for Parliament and local governments, we are not doing it now. And the person who communicated is not the right person. So kindly disregard that letter. So I had thought that maybe Parliament had disregarded that letter, because if, for example, we are to write on Parliament and local government, we have to do it the right way, like following the right sequences. It should have been me to write to the head, the political head. That is the right honorable speaker.
Ugandans have now been urged to take a keen interest in these reports, using them as tools for holding their leaders accountable and ensuring strategic development of their communities.
Now this issue of multiple taxation, as I've told you, is going to be worked on. So many issues. When we do our tracking, we'll be telling the country what is happening. And get interested in this kind of work we are doing. You will know what government has so far done, what has not yet been done, and then you can demand accountability.
The Equal Opportunities Commission is a constitutional body established by the Equal Opportunities Act number 12/2007, visioning a just and fair society where all persons have equal opportunity to participate and benefit in all spheres of political, economic, social and cultural life. Rebecca Nantongo, Susan Inabugude, UBC News.
The Minister for Kampala and Metropolitan Affairs, Hajat Minsa Kavanda, has underscored a crucial role parents play in ensuring their children's safety during this time. Let's hear more from Katamba.
The Minister for Kampala Affairs, Hajat Minsa Kavanda, has stressed the importance of safeguarding children's physical, emotional, and psychological health throughout the holiday period. She urged parents to meet their children's needs and protect them from harm.
These holidays are too long. This is December and January. They should encourage their students, their children, first of all, to do some homework at home, secondly, to revise books, and thirdly, to at least to know about their country. Otherwise, they should love the country as we love them, as they love them.
Mr. Kabanda also encouraged parents to utilize government-aided schools which offer holiday activities and programs aimed at engaging and educating children in meaningful ways.
Because you don't have money, especially those who don't have a good income, because paying in private school, private institution, is also expensive. 1 million, 2 million, others are even paying 5 million, 3 million. So they should come to such schools. However congested there, but the syllabus is the same.
The head teacher of Kolo High School, Ajat Amina Mukasa Wuyinza, reviewed the plans to construct a new fence and gate to enhance the school security. She highlighted the need for parental involvement in fostering children's safety and well-being.
Bus, and thanks to the parents, we have our bus, but we have little space. So the Board of Governors came up with an idea of building a shelter up and maybe utilizing the space down for stores, for offices and other things. And that one will require coming up with a new gate. And this time is an artistic.
Meanwhile, at Wambu Parent School, Director Ajat Aisha Nambazira echoed similar sentiments. She emphasized the importance of parental support in ensuring students' holistic care both in and out of school.
But they should not let them loiter all over the villages. Let them keep them busy because you have given them holiday tasks to deal with. I also request parents to buy baking materials for our children because they can do it. They should not be kept redundant.
Controlling the children are not very easy. Some children learn bad habits, so I call upon the parents to take care of these children so that they come back next year when they are safe. And I want to wish the parents of One Parent School a happy new year.
Robert Katamba and Jamil Sekaja, UBC News.
Now, an estimated 85% of children have been negatively affected by climate change impacts over the past 5 years. This revelation came during a collaboration between the Ministry of Water and Environment and Save the Children Uganda to launch a climate landscape report conducted in 17 districts across the country.
The Landscape Study Report of 2023 conducted by Save the Children Uganda indicated that children are more prone to the risks that come with climate change. The climate-related hazards that place the greatest burdens on children are floods, storms, droughts, extreme heat, wildfires, air pollution, and ecosystem change.
Climate changes when the indicators strike. Now, we as children are distracted from going to school. For example, when the floods strike, we are unable to go to school because everything now is distracted. The means of transport, everything now, look at it, even the food caution while at school. Some of our parents pack for us food when we're going. And when these floods now destroy the food, we have no way to get the food.
The study conducted in 17 districts of the country aimed at better ways children can be helped mitigate climate change challenges.
We'll be targeting them, first of all, appreciate that climate smart agriculture contributes to changing the impacts, contributes to mitigating the impacts of climate change.
However, government has equally aligned policy approaches to respond to climate change challenges.
Ensuring there is tree planting and tree growing in communities. Government is also ensuring that there is enforcement to address the impact of climate change. This includes stopping deforestation, illegal sand mining, and other related activities, among other activities that are undertaken.
It is believed that climate change is impacting almost every aspect of child health and well-being from pregnancy to adolescence. Winnie Ainembabazi Katwire for UBC.
The national
Stop breathing. To be a winner, you must breathe only when necessary. Breathing is for losers. What is that? Did I give you permission to sweat? You can sweat in your free time. Push the arms straight.
Winning is hard, but with MTN Momo, it's easy. Simply pay or shop with Momo for a chance to win mobile money every day. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3#.
You must have the discipline of a tiger. But when fueled with MTN Momo, winning is easy. Simply get your phone and use the Momo app or dial *165*3#, enter merchant code, enter amount, enter your Momo PIN, and pay. Congratulations! Your car is happy, and now you stand a chance to win mobile money with MTN Momo.
There is myths that so many of you live by. If your eye is twitching, it means you're going to see someone you like. If it shines and rains at the same time, it means a leopard is giving birth. If your hand is itching, it means you're going to get money. If you see an owl, it means somebody's gonna die. If you hear of a disease outbreak, just know it is in a village district at the border next to some suspicious country. You will want to scratch that last myth, because Mpox is in 19 districts and Kampala is among with dozens of cases. Please stop going around checking anyone's hand. Mpox kills. Protect your loved ones.
In our next segment, Kampala's vulnerability to climate change is intensified by wetland degradation. The loss of wetland leads to increased flooding, water pollution, loss of biodiversity, and worsened climate risks. To mitigate these impacts, experts on climate change have advised that Uganda must prioritize the restoration and conservation of its wetlands, integrate wetlands protection into urban planning, and implement climate resilient policies by safeguarding the crucial ecosystems.
Uganda is experiencing significant impacts of climate change that has brought about changing weather patterns and dropping of water levels in several water bodies. This is characterized with floods, landslides, and prolonged droughts which have threatened people's livelihood. According to the Notre Dame Global Adaptation Initiative 2021, Uganda ranks as the 13th most vulnerable country in the world to climate change and 160th out of 192 nations in readiness to confront the threat. However, as part of the interventions to address the climate change menace, the government of Uganda has integrated climate change mitigation measures in its Vision 2040 and 5-year National Development Plan to be spearheaded by the Ministry of Water and Environment, with much emphasis on building climate resilience that will require concerted efforts from all stakeholders.
That's not about KCC. We need to work with the NEMA. We need to work with the Minister of Lands and the Physics who give the land titles. We need to work with the enforcement, okay? The judicial system. If a case has been taken to court, I mean the judicial system should also come into support where we want to demolish someone who has, for example, encroached on a wetland.
In the past, that these institutions have been doing things on their own, independently, everybody doing their own things in their own enclave. Now, the mode of implementation now is to bring all stakeholders together and put the synergies together.
David Okrut, Commissioner Wetland Management, says there is indiscriminate encroachment for expansion of human settlements in urban areas, while in the rural areas there is steady conversion of wetlands for agriculture use.
That as we move towards the phase of development, we need to do development which is climate resilient in terms of climate change. The infrastructure must be resilient. The farming systems must be climate smart.
Wetlands play vital ecological and socio-economic functions such as flood mitigation, water purification, erosion prevention, moderation of extreme flows of water, and maintenance of water tables in surrounding lands. Despite the myriad benefits they provide, wetlands are among the ecosystems with the highest rates of decline, loss, and degradation. In the context of Kampala, wetlands are disappearing 3 times faster than forests and are the Earth's most threatened ecosystem.
Once you degrade them, you expose the carbon which they keep, which they sequester. It is exposed into the atmosphere, and this carbon constitutes part of the greenhouse gases.
According to the Uganda Wetlands Atlas Volume 2 developed by government, the national area of wetlands declined by 30% between 1994 and 2008. Now the report by the Ministry of Water and Environment reveals that Uganda will be left with only 1.6% of wetlands cover by 2014 if the destruction trend is not reversed by the deliberate and dedicated restoration programs countrywide.
We have been able to increase our wetland cover by 0.9. When we last did the wetland assessment in the country in 1994, the wetland cover was standing at 15.6%. And by 2015, it had declined to 13%.
If we continue at this rate, then at one time we will find the whole of Kampala being, in wetlands, and then to be degraded, and people lose their lives. Many people have lost their lives already.
Frank Muramuzi, the Executive Director, National Association of Professional Environmentalists, says if Ugandans don't reduce the pace at which wetlands are degraded, Uganda is likely to remain with no water, hence precipitating climate change.
In Kampala, we shall not be getting piped water because the lake will recede, and then the pipes will not be getting enough water from the lake.
We risk destruction of all these infrastructures, the roads. You have already seen it already here. In Rubiji, in Kinawataka here, in Chambogo, Vice areas, places are flooding.
At the moment, the country is held between a hard rock and soft surface, with no control measure for the different weather patterns. This means the country will be receiving heavy unexpected rains or drought.
You have drastic rains which are destructive, and they come when you don't expect them, when you don't expect the rains. 2, you have dry spells because the rain, the water has gone.
Muramuzi reiterates that the country is at a point of no return. The only option left on table is to utilize the little mechanisms available.
So we are almost at the top. So that's why I say now all we need is to have just a listening ear from the head of state, because I think these other institutions are not empowered.
We see a positive trend in terms of recovery. We believe that in the next 10 years, we should have gone back to around 15-point-something% of the wetland cover.
Now government has...
Well, let's take a short break and return with our business segment. Now into business, Uganda has strengthened its economic and diplomatic ties with the Association of Southwest Asian Nations through a high-profile 10-day visit aimed at fostering global partnerships and economic growth.
The debate competition, which has been running since 2019, aims to put young people at the forefront of fighting corruption. This year's debate saw students from different schools converge to share their thoughts and ideas on corruption topics, with Nyakasura High School emerging as overall winners. Into the Auditor General's office, the energy and insights of the young sit as a reminder on the role the youth can play to shape the future.
Reflect a shared commitment to addressing corruption head-on, from the value of integrity in everyday life to the power of technology and the necessity for collective action. It's clear that our youth are not just the leaders of tomorrow, they have become the change makers of today.
Among other motions was the creation of a corruption score to deliberately punish the corrupt.
We're looking at corruption, the score has always been going, it has not been there, but the score of corruption and the not being there, we look at the people who are corrupt and people who have mercy. Second, if you bring it now to our world, that happens, and the second option is for corrupt people to seek out one another, to help out one another. Because, as I said, they can still access these particular offices depending on the people that are putting them in power, depending on the cultural attitude of the people, of the masses, or of the government in itself, or the higher ups of governments that make these particular appointments. So, at the end of the day, you're literally creating a syndicate of corruption in the state.
The Deputy Inspector General of Government urged the youth to uphold integrity, emphasizing that corruption takes various forms.
And this is the reason why we need to be grounded in these values. We need to walk the talk. If we talk about values, what do we mean? We're talking about integrity, standing for truthfulness, patriotism, social responsibility. How do you make a significant impact wherever you are, in your different spaces? Are you making that significant impact? Are you transforming the lives of the people you associate with?
The competition is part of a broader effort to empower young people to take an active role in fighting corruption and promoting good governance.
In this debate, that we need to protect those who report and be able to act on the things they report about, because it pulls them back and demoralizes them when they report and there is no action taken.
As the youth take center stage in the fight against corruption, their energy and insights are a powerful reminder of the role they can play in shaping a better future for Uganda. Kayen Faith, Dan Lugema for UBC.
Now, Finance Minister Patricia Lukoma has reaffirmed the government's commitment to addressing challenges in Karamoja by providing tractors to each sub-county and implementing irrigation schemes across the 9 districts. Let's hear more.
The Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Patricia Lukoma, has urged the Karamojong to abandon gun violence and instead embrace government programs focused on wealth creation. This was during a peer-to-peer learning visit by the Karachuna to Kisomba ranching scheme in Mubende, organized by the Microfinance Support Center.
We people in Karamoja have stopped killing each other.
have stopped stealing cattle from each other. Now we want your government to help us develop. I have said it today, and I hope the message will go to the president.
The government is intensifying efforts to transform Karamoja by addressing insecurity and fostering economic development.
The way of addressing various needs is to have some seed capital somewhere. That is the principle that these reformed Karashunas are being taught, to learn to save, borrow, invest, and return.
A delegation of religious, political and cultural leaders alongside the Karachuna participated in a peer-to-peer learning exchange in Mobende district. The visit hosted at Minister Kasaija's Kisomba ranching scheme focused on mindset change and wealth creation.
If you keep peace, that part of our Uganda is going to grow very, very, very fast. But when they hear this bleeding of killing, people freeze. Now you miss the chance.
Kasaija encouraged the Karachuna to abandon cattle rustling and gun violence, emphasizing that peace is essential for progress. He pledged financial support for Karachuna initiatives, including water provision to mitigate drought-related hunger and the allocation of 2 tractors per sub-county in Karamoja.
I will urge everybody in government to make sure that water is kept there. When it rains, it should be there.
The Karachuna called for affirmative action to economically empower women, highlighting those addressing women's challenges could play a key role in reducing insecurity by discouraging men from engaging in violent activities.
There is nothing going to be possible in our region without peace. So going forward, we need to achieve peace.
The best practices that we are going with from this farm to our region is that first and foremost, peace must be a priority.
The delegation also toured the Busesa demonstration farm in Kivale district, a 4-hectare model land generating millions of shillings annually, showcasing the potential of agricultural ventures.
Today we have these people from Karamoja, my brothers and sisters. This message of the new innovations that we have here at the farm, I believe they have taken it. The pasture gardens, the Saka Mountain gardens, to have agriculture within the smallest size of land.
The government remains steadfast in its mission to create opportunities for Karamoja, fostering peace and prosperity through mindset change and targeted interventions.
Now, Uganda has strengthened its economic and diplomatic ties with the Association of Southwest Asian Nations through a high-profile 10-day visit aimed at fostering global partnerships and economic growth. Betty Oyela Bigombe, Uganda's High Commissioner to Malaysia, emphasized the significance of these efforts.
As part of its strategy to enhance economic and diplomatic ties with Asian countries, the Uganda High Commission in Thailand, in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, hosted a delegation from Asian countries from November 25th to December 7th, 2024.
So what we're doing in here is to tap on opportunities in Asian countries. The message to them by bringing them over here is that we do have opportunities. Uganda is an investment destination in manufacturing, in IT, in agro-industrialization, in tourism, and a number of other sectors.
This high-level visit provided an excellent platform for key stakeholders in tourism and other sectors to identify areas for meaningful partnerships.
We sign many memorandums. They sit there to collect dust, and they're not translated into action. So we're missing out on those. So I want to dust all these memorandums and see how we can have them implemented as opposed to having them collect dust, because it also shows lack of seriousness on our part. So we hope this kind of partnership, bringing trade, bringing all kinds of, and also learning from them.
Dr. Bigombe underscored Uganda's investor-friendly environment, which features tax incentives, a supportive policy framework, and numerous opportunities in infrastructure development, mineral value addition, agro-processing, and the oil and gas sectors.
We will be able to attract investors, we'll be able to attract tourists, we'll be able to attract manufacturers that can come in and add value to some of the products that we have. For example, canning of fruits, because we have those.
Uganda's strategic access to regional markets, including the East African Community, the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, and the African Continental Free Trade Area, makes it an ideal gateway for businesses aiming to scale across Africa.
So it is our privilege that we are exposing you to these attractions, but also for you to be our ambassadors, so that we can have other people from your countries come and actually visit Uganda.
The Asian delegation also focused on Uganda's thriving tourism sector, which contributes 7.7% to the GDP and supports nearly 667,000 jobs. Crispus Arinitwe, Dennis Goa, UBC News.
Now, State Minister for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Martin Mugara Bahinduka, has called on the Asian governments and investors to capitalize on Uganda's vibrant tourism sector. Speaking at a tourism dinner, tourists who explored Uganda's wildlife attractions, he highlighted the sector's potential for economic growth and job creation.
State Minister for Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Martin Mugara, has highlighted the government's supportive framework for investors looking to establish tourism businesses in Uganda. These initiatives are designed to stimulate the sector, generate revenue, and create employment opportunities.
Government, we will set the platform through which people can do business with ease. Hardly does government here get into business, but we invite the private sector to come and invest in the sector. And I want to through you, Joseph, and your team, please, if you have some people who you feel want to invest in the sector, I have my man here, the executive director of ULGA. Our policy is clear. We can give you some concessions in the parks. You construct. And
Uganda's ambassador to Thailand, Betty Bigombe, called for a shift in mindset, urging both Ugandans and Asian citizens to explore opportunities across diverse regions rather than limiting themselves to familiar destinations. She also encouraged Ugandan tourists to visit Asian countries to gain new perspectives and foster cultural exchange.
It is equally important for us as Ugandans to unblock the mindset that you can only do business in Europe. I must say in Asia, it is usually either China or India. But we have not been able to tap the opportunities that exist in Asia. To unblock the mindset of Asians, that I also would like to encourage Uganda tourists to go to Asia, investors to go to Asia.
The CEO Uganda Tourism Board, Lily Ajarova, stressed the importance of digital marketing in promoting Uganda's tourism assets. She projected a significant revenue boost from the Asian market by the end of 2024, contingent on achieving targeted marketing objectives.
Marketing has become a must-do, and as Uganda Tourism Board, we are encouraging all our partners and the industry players to make sure that we are able to use these platforms, which is the key means of marketing Uganda.
To enhance the tourism experience, the General Manager of U Travel Vacations Company Limited recommended that the Ministry of ICT focuses on improving telecommunications, transport infrastructure and internet connectivity, which are vital for linking Uganda to global tourism markets.
Electricity and telecommunication. We have tried our best, and now nowhere in a country is without electricity, is without internet. This message with humbly comes with love to be sent to the Minister of ICT. Please kindly do it for Ugandan people.
Uganda's tourism sector offers numerous incentives for investors, including tax exemptions and deductions. The Uganda Investment Authority UIA serves as a non-stop center, providing investment licenses and comprehensive support services to streamline the investment process. Charity Marion Imnat and Sula Kagugube for UBC News.
The e-commerce day held at Katikati Restaurant in Kampala brought together business leaders and innovators to explore opportunities for collaboration, growth and innovation in Uganda's large ongoing e-commerce sector. Now, the event comes at a time when e-commerce platforms in Uganda are experiencing exponential growth, driven by increased internet penetration.
The impact is not really visible. How can we as your customer benefit more?
All roads led to Katikati Restaurant this Friday to mark the e-commerce day hosted by Glovo in partnership with key industry players. The event was aimed at driving digital transformation in the region. Glovo, a multi-category delivery platform, showcased its commitment to fostering partnerships that empower businesses to succeed in the digital economy.
Everybody who has come here will, number one, know how to plan. So we believe that everyone who has come here will know how to plan for their next year, how much they have to invest, okay, to see how they grow from a small business to a bigger business. Our plan here for us today is to ensure that they leave being equipped with everything that they need to start their businesses.
The day featured engaging panel discussions, interactive workshops and networking sessions designed to revolutionize the delivery of goods and services through digital platforms.
We are bringing all our partners, so people who do food delivery, so restaurants. We also have our grocery partners, the likes of Carrefour Frame, and we also have our brands. Our brands include Diageo, who are here, or even banks like DFCU, who's also here, and we are bringing them to explain to them about what Glovo is and why they should actually continue investing in Glovo, and also to teach them on how to grow on Glovo, because one of the biggest things is every business wants to grow, and we're about to close the year, so this is the best time for us to actually talk to them and tell them about how they can grow their business in 2025.
Key highlights included Glovo's innovative approaches to tackling challenges in last-mile delivery, enhancing customer satisfaction, and integrating small and medium-sized enterprises into the e-commerce ecosystem.
There's the gap between understanding how the platform works, how the device works. So there's a lot of different matrices or information that we use to track and understand how a store operates on the platform. One of them, as I spoke about, was the uptime, which is the amount of time that a store is open on the application. The longer that a store is open on the application, the more likely they are to attract more customers, especially because we have people who will eat at different times of the day.
The e-commerce boom continues to transform how people shop and conduct business worldwide. While the COVID-19 pandemic presented challenges, it also accelerated the shift to online shopping as consumers increasingly turn to e-commerce platforms for convenience and safety.
In sports, Uganda's national netball team, the She Cranes, has held its first training session since arriving in Namibia for the 2024 Africa Netball Cup set to kick off on Monday. Let's hear more.
This is Amateur Richard. Profession is a coach. That's my profession. I'm glad for this occasion. It's a reunion as sharing legends. And this is where I started my coaching. Though there are other schools which I used to go, but my main place was here since I was living nearby. I have very many friends around, which by the time sharing went off, it really disorganized everybody. Those who lived in Katwe, Lukuli, it was a powerhouse anyway, because it's, since it is youth sharing, we used to share a lot of things.
As I speak also, sharing, I didn't only stop in coaching. I became the baseball president, the Uganda Baseball and Softball Federation president for 4 years. That was between 2010 and 2014. And I also worked with Major League Baseball, the top professional baseball organization from the USA as a scout. And within East Africa, I've been coaching in and out, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. 2019, I was also part of the Olympics qualifiers team coach. I was in South Africa. Out of 5-6 countries from Africa, South Africa matched the winner to represent Africa.
Sharing. Ndowooza nze omwe yakisooka mu byemizannyo yakisooka okuteeka sharing mawulire nnyo. Ate nga ndi box omu owa sharing ate nga nzannya paka nga nina okulaba nti nzannya okuva preliminary paka ku final.
They think that failures are only people who come to sharing, but no. There are very many successful people from sharing if you come to sports and any other activities. What we also now, this reunion here, is just to bring us together and see where things are not moving perfectly. How did we manage to reach this?
Njagala kukwata komiti emito egiri wano tulabe nti era tugyayo talent ezimu eziriwo ento zitwale mpaka ku international level.
I'm right now in Zambia, you say, whoa, what is not happening? But this one.
Well, we do apologize. That wasn't the She Cranes training story. That was Zambia sharing a reunion mentorship center where they rallied for revival, aiming to once again focus on nurturing talent among the underprivileged children and youth in Uganda. And I think that is quite a beautiful initiative that should be kept ongoing. Now back to the She Cranes story. Uganda's national netball team, the She Cranes, has held its first training session since arriving in Namibia for the 2024 Africa Netball Cup, which is set to kick off on Monday. Let's hear more.
With 3 days to the 2024 African Netball Cup in Namibia, the She Cranes has held its first training session at the MTC Dome in Swaka Pond. It was more like a recovery session after almost 24 hours of travel to this coastal municipality in the north of Namibia. All the players were part of this session that in the early stages was manned by Uganda's professional player, Mary Nuba.
I'm so happy because this is my first time. I've never got this opportunity like this time. So I'm so happy. The team is well. We are together. We are cooperating with coaches, management, and us, the team, we are a bond.
When the team's technical department took charge, coaches Nelson Bogere and Nurdin Kato focused on the 3 stages of defense, swift movement, and attention to detail that will thwart any threats when the tournament starts on Monday. The players in the session were Farida Kadondi, Hanisha Mohamed, Aya Gloria, Christine Nakito, Margaret Bagala, Fijidaus Namulema, Irene Eyaru, Shadia Nasanga, Rachel Nanyonga, Christine Namulumba, and Mase Batamuliza.
As a player, I'm very ready because we've been training as a team and I feel like I'm very fit and I can compete as a player.
Uganda comes into this tournament on the back of 3 triumphs, the latest being in 2018, while the previous 2 were in 2017 and 2014.
Yeah, of course, we as Ugandans, we always focus ahead, we always go ahead. If I try to compare the team for today and with the one of 2018, I think I may say this team we're having right now at hand is the best ever team, which I think the whole world is also trying to fear. Now, if I talk of the whole world, meaning in Africa, we are the ever best netball team in Africa. So, meaning we don't have any doubts about Team Uganda.
In pursuit of a 4th African crown, Uganda is in Pool B alongside Eswatini, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and Lesotho.
According to Netball Africa, you may think that the teams are lighter, but teams have changed a lot, and the African netball has grown on speed, and we can't take them for granted, and we are going to take every match in the group as a finals.
The other nations in the tournament are reigning champions Zambia, South Africa, Kenya, and Malawi.
And that's all we had time for. Thank you once again for choosing us and allowing us into your space. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango. A very good night to you, but UBC programming continues. Good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Teens Crown, an amazing off-the-hook youth program, brings you an array of fun, exciting, and educative segments you do not want to miss. From red carpet moments to proms, youth empowerment programs to youth gig vibes, and so much more, Teens Crown will get you hooked. Only on UBC TV, every Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Don't miss.
This weekend on UBC.
Uganda People's Defense